Number 1. This 1966 Ford Fairlane 500XL honestly feels like the perfect example of how a classic American muscle car can be transformed into a modern street machine without losing its original soul. In my opinion, the mid-60s Fairlane has always been one of Ford's coolest and most underrated platforms because it combines clean vintage styling with a body that looks absolutely incredible when properly customized. And this particular build sounds seriously impressive from top to bottom. The first thing that immediately grabs my attention is the red exterior with black stripes. Personally, I think that combination gives the car a very aggressive and timeless muscle car appearance. Red already makes a classic car stand out naturally, but the addition of black striping gives this Fairlane an even more serious performance look. I can already imagine this thing turning heads everywhere it goes because cars with this kind of styling simply demand attention. One thing I've always loved about the Fairlane 500XL is how balanced the design feels. In my opinion, Ford really nailed the proportions on these cars. They have the clean body lines of a 60s cruiser while still looking muscular and aggressive enough to handle serious performance upgrades like this one clearly has. And honestly, this car sounds far beyond a simple restoration. This feels more like a carefully built resto-mod designed to combine vintage muscle car personality with modern drivability and performance. The biggest highlight for me is definitely the 347-stroker engine setup. Personally, I think stroked small-block Ford engines are some of the most fun power plants you can put into classic cars because they deliver strong horsepower while still keeping the lightweight, responsive personality of a small-block platform. The seller also mentions blueprint heads and a Holley Sniper 2 EFI system, and honestly, that combination tells me this car was built with performance and reliability in mind. In my opinion, electronic fuel injection upgrades like the Holley Sniper system are one of the best modern improvements you can add to an older muscle car because they dramatically improve starting, throttle response, and drivability compared to old carburetor systems. I can easily imagine this Fairlane firing up instantly, idling smoothly, and still delivering that aggressive old-school V8 sound through the custom Flowmaster exhaust system. And honestly, Flowmasters on a classic Ford just sound right. That deep aggressive rumble is a huge part of what makes American muscle cars feel so emotional and exciting. The automatic transmission with overdrive is another thing I really appreciate about this build. Classic muscle cars originally weren't always ideal for highway cruising, but adding overdrive makes a huge difference in real-world drivability. Personally, I think that's one of the smartest upgrades you can make because it allows the car to feel comfortable both around town and on longer drives. The seller also says the transmission was rebuilt in 2022, which gives even more confidence in the overall quality of the build. In my opinion, fresh drivetrain work always adds value because transmission rebuilds on classic performance cars can become expensive very quickly. Another thing that really stands out to me is the complete brake and suspension setup. Four-wheel disc brakes, upgraded shocks, lowering springs, rear lowering leaf springs, and a uni-steer power steering rack likely make this Fairlane drive dramatically better than a stock 60s car ever could. Honestly, one of the biggest weaknesses of older muscle cars was always handling and braking performance. But builds like this solve that problem by blending classic style with modern engineering upgrades. Personally, I think that combination makes these cars far more enjoyable to actually drive regularly. The Speedway 4.11 gears paired with the Posey Ford 9-inch rear end also tell me this car was built to perform. The Ford 9-inch rear is legendary for strength and durability, and with 4.11 gearing, this Fairlane probably accelerates extremely aggressively. And honestly, the wheel and tire setup sounds absolutely perfect. American Racing salt flat wheels instantly give the car that aggressive pro-touring appearance, while the staggered 17-inch front and 18-inch rear setup probably gives it an amazing stance. Combined with the new Continental Extreme Contact tires, this Fairlane likely looks modern and planted while still maintaining its vintage muscle identity. Inside the car, the Dakota Digital Dash with GPS speedometer is another upgrade I personally love. In my opinion, Dakota digital systems are one of the best ways to modernize classic car interiors while still respecting the original style. You get modern accuracy and functionality without losing the classic atmosphere. The modern radio and vintage air conditioning system are also huge advantages. Personally, I think comfort upgrades matter a lot because they make classic cars much easier to enjoy regularly instead of only occasionally. Another thing I appreciate is the fact that the headliner and carpet were replaced relatively recently in 2019. Small details like that help the interior feel much fresher and more complete. The fuel cell mounted in the trunk also shows that this build likely received serious attention to detail. In my opinion, this isn't just a casual cosmetic restoration. It sounds like someone carefully planned and upgraded almost every part of the vehicle. What I personally love most about builds like this is how they preserve the emotion and personality of classic American muscle cars while eliminating many of the frustrations older vehicles originally had. Modern cars today may be technologically advanced, but many of them feel cold and disconnected. Cars like this Fairlane still feel loud, mechanical, raw, and alive. And honestly, the 1966 Fairlane body style itself is already beautiful even before modifications. But with the red paint, black stripes, aggressive stance, modern wheels, and powerful stroker motor, this car sounds absolutely stunning. Now, the asking price of $46,000 honestly feels understandable considering the amount of work, upgrades, and quality components involved. Builds at this level often require enormous amounts of money, labor, and attention to detail. Number 2. 1965 Ford Thunderbird Coupe 2D. This 1965 Ford Thunderbird is a well-preserved example of Ford's luxury personal coupe era, combining full-size V8 power, premium factory comfort features, and unmistakable mid-60s styling into a classic grand touring package. Finished in burgundy with a matching burgundy interior, the car presents a highly coordinated and elegant appearance that reflects the upscale design direction Ford pursued during the Thunderbird's fourth generation. With its long body lines, chrome trim details, and signature personal luxury proportions, this Thunderbird continues to deliver the kind of road presence that made the model one of America's most recognizable luxury coupes during the 1960s. Power comes from a 390 cubic inch FE Series V8 engine paired with an automatic transmission, creating a drivetrain combination known for smooth highway cruising, strong low-end torque, and dependable long-distance driving capability. Ford's FE engines became widely respected during the 1960s for their durability and broad use across both luxury and performance-oriented vehicles. In the Thunderbird platform, the 390 V8 delivers a relaxed yet powerful driving experience focused more on comfort and effortless cruising than aggressive muscle car performance. The vehicle is equipped with a wide range of factory luxury features that were considered highly desirable during the mid-1960s. These include power steering, power brakes, power windows, power seats, and the iconic swing-away steering wheel system. The swing-away steering wheel remains one of the Thunderbird's most distinctive features from this era, automatically moving aside to make entering and exiting the car easier while also showcasing Ford's emphasis on futuristic luxury design during the period. Additional exterior styling details include factory-style fender skirts, which contribute to the car's smooth side profile and upscale appearance. The Thunderbird's body design emphasized clean lines and refined proportions, positioning the car more as a sophisticated personal luxury coupe than a pure performance vehicle. Compared to smaller sporty cars of the same period, the Thunderbird prioritized comfort, quiet cruising, and premium styling features. According to the seller, the exterior remains in excellent condition, with the original paint still maintaining strong shine and presentation. Preserved original paint is increasingly uncommon on vehicles from this era and can add significant appeal among collectors who appreciate authenticity and long-term preservation. The seller also notes that the interior remains completely original and exceptionally well maintained, further supporting the impression of a carefully preserved classic rather than a heavily modified or extensively restored example. Inside the cabin, the matching burgundy interior reflects the rich color combinations commonly seen in premium American cars of the 1960s. Wide seating surfaces, extensive trim detailing, and soft ride-oriented engineering all contributed to the Thunderbird's identity as a comfortable long-distance touring car. The car is also equipped with a heater and an upgraded custom sound system, allowing the vehicle to maintain much of its original atmosphere while improving entertainment functionality for modern driving enjoyment. Included with the vehicle are the original owner's manual and spare keys, both of which add to the overall completeness and historical presentation of the car. Documentation and original accessories such as these are often appreciated by collectors because they help preserve the authenticity and ownership history associated with vintage vehicles. The 1965 Thunderbird occupied an important position within Ford's lineup during a period when personal luxury coupes were becoming increasingly popular in the American automotive market. Unlike smaller muscle cars that focused primarily on raw performance, the Thunderbird blended V8 power with comfort, technology, and upscale styling in a way that appealed to buyers seeking a more refined driving experience. Today, surviving examples continue to attract enthusiasts interested in classic American luxury vehicles with strong visual identity and smooth cruising capability. Overall, This particular Thunderbird appears to offer a strong combination of originality, preserved condition, luxury equipment, and dependable FE Series V8 power. The clean presentation, functioning comfort features, documented accessories, and largely original condition make it especially appealing for collectors or enthusiasts seeking a vintage cruiser that remains enjoyable both on the road and at classic car events. This 1965 Ford Thunderbird Coupe is located in El Cajon, California, and is currently being offered for sale at an asking price between $12,500 and $15,999 or best offer. Number 3. 1975 Pontiac Firebird 350 Ci V8 Automatic Esprit. This 1975 Pontiac Firebird Esprit represents a highly preserved and well-maintained example of mid-1970s American muscle-era styling, combining classic Pontiac design, low-mileage originality, and extensive recent maintenance upgrades that make the vehicle immediately usable as a dependable street cruiser. Finished in a white exterior paired with a tan interior, this Firebird carries the sleek long hood proportions, aggressive front-end styling, and unmistakable body lines that helped make the second-generation Firebird one of Pontiac's most recognizable performance-oriented platforms during the 1970s. According to the seller, the vehicle has been family-owned, garage-kept, and primarily used as a weekend cruiser, helping preserve both its condition and overall originality throughout its lifetime. Power comes from a 350 cubic inch Pontiac V8 engine paired with an automatic transmission upgraded with a B&M shifter. The Pontiac 350 platform became known for delivering reliable V8 torque and smooth cruising characteristics while maintaining the traditional sound and personality associated with classic American muscle cars. Combined with the automatic transmission, the drivetrain creates a relaxed and comfortable driving experience well suited for long cruises, weekend events, and regular road use. The addition of the B&M shifter gives the car a slightly more performance-oriented feel while still preserving its overall comfort-focused nature. According to the seller, the car runs and drives exceptionally well and currently needs absolutely nothing mechanically, suggesting that the vehicle has been carefully maintained and properly sorted over time. One of the strongest selling points of this Firebird is its reported originality and ownership history. The seller states that, according to VIN data records, the vehicle has only been titled once previously and is believed to remain a two-owner car with no reported collision history. Low-ownership classic vehicles are often especially attractive to collectors and enthusiasts because they may indicate more consistent care and less long-term abuse or modification throughout the vehicle's lifetime. The odometer currently shows approximately 63,000 miles, and the seller repeatedly emphasizes the car's original condition and overall preservation. The Firebird Esprit trim was designed to offer a balance between sporty styling and comfortable road manners, making it more refined than some of the more aggressive high-performance Pontiac variants of the era. This example appears to retain that character while also benefiting from substantial recent maintenance work aimed at ensuring long-term reliability and roadworthiness. According to the listing, the vehicle recently received an extensive list of new components including new tires, new brake rotors, new brake drums, new brake shoes, new brake pads, new wheel bearings, new shocks, a new true dual exhaust system, fresh spark plugs, and a complete oil and filter service. These upgrades significantly improve both reliability and driving confidence while reducing the likelihood of immediate maintenance expenses for the next owner. The newly installed true dual exhaust system likely enhances both engine sound and overall driving character, giving the Pontiac 350 V8 a deeper and more aggressive exhaust tone compared to the factory exhaust configuration. Combined with the smooth automatic transmission and low-mileage drivetrain, the car likely delivers a relaxed but still distinctly muscular cruising experience that reflects the personality of classic 1970s Pontiac vehicles. The seller also describes the body as solid and the overall ride quality as smooth and quiet, suggesting that the car has retained much of its original grand touring comfort despite its age. Visually, the white exterior combined with the tan interior gives the Firebird a clean and elegant appearance that fits the styling trends of the mid-1970s extremely well. The second-generation Firebird design remains highly respected among enthusiasts because of its low-slung profile, dramatic front-end styling, and sporty proportions that helped separate it from many other American cars of the era. According to the seller, the vehicle receives frequent compliments during cruises and public outings, reinforcing the strong visual appeal these cars continue to carry decades after production. Inside the cabin, the Firebird retains a comfortable interior layout focused on relaxed cruising and driver enjoyment. While the listing does not detail every interior feature individually, the seller repeatedly emphasizes the vehicle's clean presentation and excellent overall condition. The Esprit trim level originally focused more on comfort and appearance than raw performance, making this Firebird particularly appealing for enthusiasts looking for a vintage Pontiac that can be comfortably enjoyed during longer drives and weekend events rather than being limited strictly to show use. Located in Albuquerque, New Mexico, this 1975 Pontiac Firebird Esprit is offered at an asking price of $16,500 and is described as priced to sell. Combining low-mileage originality, documented ownership history, extensive recent maintenance, reliable Pontiac V8 performance, and classic second-generation Firebird styling, this vehicle represents an appealing opportunity for enthusiasts searching for a clean and dependable vintage Pontiac cruiser. With its mostly original condition, upgraded maintenance components, and strong overall presentation, this Firebird successfully balances classic muscle car personality with practical road-ready usability. Number 4, a heavily modified 1962 Ford Fairlane built in true Pro Street and drag-inspired fashion, combining classic early 1960s Ford styling with a serious high-performance drivetrain and aggressive race-influenced attitude. Unlike a standard restored Fairlane designed mainly for comfortable cruising, this car was clearly constructed with performance and visual impact in mind. From the stripped interior to the manual transmission and roll cage setup, everything about this build reflects old-school street and strip culture where raw horsepower and driver involvement mattered more than luxury or refinement. Power comes from a 351 cubic inch Windsor V8 engine built with approximately 10-to-1 compression, creating a much more aggressive personality than the original factory drivetrain ever offered. The small block Ford platform has long been respected for its durability, strong aftermarket support, and ability to produce reliable street performance while remaining relatively lightweight. Equipped with performance headers, upgraded ignition components, and a Holley carburetor, this Fairlane likely delivers sharp throttle response, a deep exhaust note, and the kind of raw mechanical feel enthusiasts expect from a serious Pro Street-style build. Backing the engine is a Tremec 5-speed manual transmission, one of the most desirable upgrades for classic performance cars because it combines aggressive acceleration with improved highway drivability. The additional overdrive gear allows the car to remain more comfortable at cruising speeds compared to older 4-speed setups, while still giving the driver complete control over the power band during hard acceleration. The manual transmission also adds a much more connected and engaging driving experience, making the car feel mechanical, responsive, and far more involved than many automatic-equipped classics. Power is transferred to the rear wheels through a Ford 9-inch rear end fitted with pause traction, a combination widely respected for strength and reliability in high-horsepower applications. The Ford 9-inch has become legendary among drag racers and muscle car builders because of its ability to handle serious torque without sacrificing durability. Together with the Windsor engine and Tremec transmission, the drivetrain creates a setup that feels purpose-built for hard launches, aggressive street driving, and occasional strip use. The overall appearance of the car follows classic Pro Street styling themes. The trunk-mounted fuel cell, roll cage, gutted interior, bucket seats, and racing harnesses all reinforce the car's competition-inspired personality. Rather than attempting to preserve factory comfort or originality, this Fairlane embraces the stripped-down and performance-focused approach that defined many custom street machines during the 1980s and 1990s. The minimalist interior likely keeps weight down while also giving the cabin an unmistakably raw and race-ready atmosphere. Despite the aggressive setup, the seller describes the car as turnkey, suggesting it is already sorted enough to start, drive, and enjoy immediately without requiring major additional work. That is an important detail because many heavily modified projects often remain unfinished or unreliable. A functioning turnkey build with this level of modification can save future owners significant time and expense compared to starting from an incomplete project car. Visually, early 1960s Fairlanes have become increasingly popular among hot rod and drag racing enthusiasts because of their lightweight body design and simple styling. The compact dimensions combined with V8 power make these cars excellent foundations for performance builds. This particular example likely turns attention everywhere it goes due to both its aggressive stance and unmistakable race-inspired appearance. The seller even notes that the car turns heads, which is not surprising considering the combination of vintage body lines, manual transmission setup, exposed performance attitude, and unmistakable Pro Street personality. Located in Kingman, Arizona, and offered at $14,500, this 1962 Ford Fairlane represents a very different type of classic car ownership experience compared to stock restorations or luxury cruisers. Instead of focusing on originality and factory correctness, this build prioritizes sound, speed, visual aggression, and pure driver engagement. Overall, this Fairlane feels like a purpose-built old-school street machine designed for enthusiasts who appreciate raw American V8 performance, manual shifting, and the unmistakable spirit of vintage drag racing culture. Number 5. 1967 Ford Fairlane. This 1967 Ford Fairlane represents a modernized classic muscle-era Ford that combines vintage styling with contemporary GM performance technology, creating a highly capable restomod designed for both comfort and serious street performance. While the exterior still maintains the unmistakable appearance of a mid-1960s Fairlane, the drivetrain and mechanical upgrades transform the car into a far more refined and powerful machine compared to its original factory configuration. Vehicles like this have become increasingly popular among enthusiasts because they preserve the timeless look of classic American muscle while delivering the reliability, drivability, and performance expected from modern components. Under the hood sits a modern LS3 aluminum block 6.2-liter V8 engine paired with a 4L65E automatic transmission. The LS3 has become one of the most respected and widely used modern V8 platforms in the restomod world thanks to its impressive horsepower potential, lightweight construction, reliability, and strong aftermarket support. Compared to many original 1960s muscle car engines, the LS3 delivers smoother operation, improved fuel management, stronger high RPM performance, and far greater long-term dependability. Combined with the electronically controlled 4L65E automatic transmission, the drivetrain offers a much more refined driving experience while still producing the aggressive acceleration and deep V8 sound expected from a modern performance build. The Fairlane is also equipped with several important upgrades designed to improve comfort and road manners. Vintage air conditioning has been installed and is reported to blow cold, making the car significantly more enjoyable in warmer climates while still maintaining a clean and period-correct appearance inside the cabin. Power steering and power brakes further improve everyday drivability, while the addition of four-wheel disc brakes provides much stronger and safer stopping performance compared to the original factory drum brake setup typically found on vehicles from this era. Handling and traction are also enhanced through the inclusion of a posy rear end, helping the car put power to the ground more effectively during acceleration. A larger 22-gallon fuel tank has been added as well, improving driving range and practicality for longer cruises or road trips. These types of upgrades help transform the Fairlane from a traditional weekend-only classic into a vehicle capable of being driven comfortably and confidently on a much more regular basis. Inside the cabin, the car features upgraded TMI bucket seats, adding both improved support and a more modern interior feel while still complementing the classic muscle car environment. The black interior pairs well with the blue exterior finish, creating a clean and aggressive appearance consistent with many high-end restomod builds. Rather than preserving a completely stock factory interior, the setup appears designed around balancing classic styling with increased comfort and usability for modern driving conditions. The exterior retains the sharp body lines and muscular proportions that made the 1967 Fairlane such a respected platform during the original muscle car era. Ford's intermediate cars from this period became increasingly performance-oriented as the muscle car wars intensified throughout the late 1960s, and the Fairlane developed a strong reputation for being both lightweight and highly adaptable to high-performance engine combinations. In modern restomod form, platforms like this continue to attract builders because they provide classic styling without sacrificing the ability to integrate contemporary performance upgrades. According to the seller, the car runs and drives extremely well, suggesting the drivetrain swap and supporting modifications were completed properly and sorted for reliable operation. With only approximately 8,900 miles shown since the build or drivetrain installation, the vehicle appears to have seen relatively limited use following completion. The overall combination of modern powertrain technology, upgraded braking and suspension systems, and factory-inspired styling makes this Fairlane especially appealing for enthusiasts who want a classic car that can comfortably keep up with modern traffic and driving expectations. Unlike many original muscle cars that may require constant tuning or maintenance, LS-powered restomods like this are often appreciated for their ability to start easily, idle consistently, and perform reliably in a wide variety of driving conditions. That balance between classic aesthetics and modern mechanical dependability is a major reason why professionally built restomod muscle cars continue to grow in popularity within the collector market. Located in Chandler, Arizona, this 1967 Ford Fairlane is currently offered for $34,700. The combination of LS3 power, 4L65E automatic transmission, vintage air conditioning, four-wheel disc brakes, posy rear end, upgraded interior, and strong overall drivability makes this vehicle a highly attractive option for anyone searching for a classic American muscle car with modern performance and everyday usability already built in. Number 6. This 1965 Ford Falcon honestly feels like one of those classic American street builds that perfectly balances vintage style with modern drivability. In my opinion, early Falcons are some of the coolest underrated platforms in the classic Ford world because they're lightweight, simple, and incredibly versatile. And when you combine that compact 60s body with upgraded V8 power and suspension improvements like this one has, the result can become a seriously fun car to drive. The first thing that immediately catches my attention is the blue exterior paired with the black interior. Personally, I think blue is one of the best colors for a classic Falcon because it highlights the clean body lines while still giving the car a relaxed vintage appearance. Combined with the black interior, this Falcon probably has that perfect old-school street cruiser vibe that classic car fans love. One thing I've always appreciated about the Falcon is its simplicity. In my opinion, cars like this represent an era when American vehicles were lightweight, mechanical, and easy to personalize. Unlike larger muscle cars, Falcons feel more nimble and approachable, which honestly makes them incredibly enjoyable to cruise around in. But this particular Falcon clearly goes beyond being a simple stock classic. According to the seller, the car now has a remanufactured 302 crate engine paired with an AOD transmission, and honestly, that completely changes the personality of the vehicle. Personally, I think Ford's 302 small block is one of the greatest engines ever created for classic street cars. It's compact, reliable, sounds fantastic, and offers plenty of performance without becoming overly complicated. And since this crate motor reportedly has only around 3,300 miles on it, the setup still sounds extremely fresh. I can already imagine this Falcon firing up with that deep small block Ford rumble while still idling smoothly enough for comfortable cruising. And honestly, putting a V8 like this into a lightweight Falcon probably makes the car feel much faster than many people would expect. The addition of the AOD automatic transmission is another huge advantage in my opinion. Older muscle cars and classic cruisers often struggle at highway speeds because of older transmission gearing, but the AOD overdrive setup makes this Falcon much more practical for modern driving. The seller specifically says the car cruises highway speeds with no problem, and honestly, that's one of the smartest upgrades you can make on a classic car if you actually plan to drive it regularly. Personally, I think drivability upgrades are just as important as horsepower because they make older cars far more enjoyable in the real world. Another thing that stands out immediately is the upgraded rear end setup. The 8-inch rear with 3.80 Posey gearing probably gives this Falcon a really fun balance between acceleration and cruising ability. Combined with the lightweight body and V8 power, I imagine this car feels very lively on the road. The front disc brakes are another major positive in my opinion. One of the biggest weaknesses of older 60s cars was braking performance, so upgrading to discs dramatically improves both safety and confidence behind the wheel. But honestly, one of the coolest parts of this entire build might be the Viking double-adjustable coilover suspension setup. In my opinion, suspension upgrades are often what truly transform old cars from vintage cruisers into modern-feeling street machines. Coilovers like these likely make the Falcon handle far better than most people would ever expect from a mid-60s compact Ford. The seller also mentions sound and heat insulation throughout the entire car, including the roof and trunk, and honestly, that's a detail I really appreciate. Sometimes older classic cars can feel noisy and uncomfortable during long drives, but proper insulation makes a huge difference in comfort and refinement. Inside the cabin, the retro-style stereo with modern Bluetooth capability sounds like another perfect upgrade. Personally, I love modifications like this because they preserve the vintage appearance while quietly adding modern convenience. You still get the classic dashboard look, but you can enjoy modern music and connectivity at the same time. The seller is also refreshingly honest about the cosmetic condition, mentioning that the paint is older and could use a good buff. In my opinion, honesty in classic car listings is always a positive because it gives buyers a more realistic expectation of the vehicle. And honestly, I don't necessarily mind slightly older paint on a car like this. Some people become obsessed with flawless show-quality finishes, but personally, I think street-driven classics with a little character often feel more approachable and enjoyable. The interior still needing carpet, a headliner, and rear seat work also makes this Falcon feel like a really interesting middle ground project. It's not a fully finished trailer queen, but it's also far beyond being a rough, unfinished project car. In my opinion, that's actually a sweet spot for many enthusiasts because it allows the next owner to personalize the final details while still being able to drive and enjoy the car immediately. Another thing I personally love about Falcons is that they still feel somewhat unique today. Mustangs from the 60s are everywhere at car shows, but clean V8, swapped Falcons with upgraded suspensions tend to stand out because they're less common and a little more unexpected. And honestly, cars like this probably surprise a lot of people on the street. From the outside, some might expect an old economy car, but underneath it has modern suspension, a healthy 302 V8, upgraded gearing, disc brakes, and overdrive transmission capability. The asking price of $15,500 honestly feels pretty reasonable to me considering the upgraded drivetrain, suspension work, disc brakes, sound insulation, and overall condition. Building a classic car with these kinds of upgrades today can become expensive very quickly. Number 7. 1964 Ford Galaxie 500 XL. This 1964 Ford Galaxie 500 XL is a well-preserved full-size Ford coupe that combines classic 60s styling, factory comfort options, and recent restoration updates into a highly usable vintage cruiser. Described as an original rust-free car, this Galaxie represents the type of solid Arizona-based classic that collectors and enthusiasts often search for due to the dry climate's ability to preserve body panels and structural components far better than cars exposed to harsher environments. The overall presentation appears focused on maintaining originality while updating important mechanical and interior systems for dependable road use. Power comes from a 352 cubic inch FE Series V8 engine paired with an automatic transmission. The 352 engine was part of Ford's well-known FE engine family and became widely respected during the 1960s for its durability, smooth torque delivery, and comfortable highway cruising characteristics. In the Galaxie platform, the engine provides the kind of effortless power expected from a full-size American car of the era, while still maintaining relaxed drivability suitable for long-distance touring and weekend cruising. The drivetrain is supported by factory power steering and power brakes, both of which contribute significantly to everyday usability. According to the seller, the power steering system has already been rebuilt, improving steering performance and reliability. Full-size vehicles from this era were engineered primarily for smooth cruising comfort rather than aggressive handling, and the combination of power-assisted steering and braking helps preserve the refined driving experience that originally defined the Galaxie lineup. One of the most desirable factory options included on this car is air conditioning. The system has reportedly been upgraded with a new Sedan compressor and condenser, improving cooling efficiency and reliability over the original equipment setup. Modern Sedan compressor conversions are especially popular on classic vehicles because they provide stronger performance and quieter operation while retaining the comfort advantages of factory air conditioning. Combined with the spacious interior and smooth ride quality of the Galaxie platform, the upgraded AC system makes this car particularly well suited for warm weather cruising and long highway drives. Fuel system updates have also been completed, including the installation of a new gas tank, new fuel pump, and a rebuilt carburetor. These improvements help ensure dependable fuel delivery and smoother engine operation, while reducing many of the reliability concerns commonly associated with older fuel systems that have remained unused for long periods. The refreshed fuel system contributes to the overall impression that the vehicle has been maintained with regular road use in mind, rather than simply cosmetic presentation. Inside the cabin, the Galaxie has received several restoration-focused interior improvements. The seats have been fitted with new seat covers and foam padding, helping restore both appearance and comfort. Additional updates include new carpeting and a replacement headliner, refreshing the overall interior environment while preserving the original luxury-oriented atmosphere associated with the Galaxie 500 XL trim package. The XL models were positioned as more upscale variants within Ford's full-size lineup and became known for offering improved interior appointments and sportier styling details compared to standard Galaxie models. The seller also notes that the vehicle has received a new windshield along with new rubber seals for the windows and doors. Weather stripping replacement is particularly important on vintage vehicles because deteriorated seals can lead to water intrusion, wind noise, and long-term interior deterioration. Replacing these components significantly improves cabin comfort and overall preservation quality. The 1964 Galaxie generation remains highly regarded among Ford enthusiasts because it represented a balance between traditional early 60s styling and the emerging performance influence that would soon dominate the muscle car era. The body design featured long, clean lines, wide proportions, and restrained chrome detailing that gave the car a sophisticated yet muscular appearance. Full-size Fords like the Galaxie also gained recognition in motorsports during the 1960s, further strengthening their reputation among enthusiasts. Overall, this particular Galaxie 500 XL appears to offer a strong combination of originality, rust-free preservation, comfort-focused factory options, and practical restoration updates. The rebuilt steering system, upgraded air conditioning components, refreshed fuel system, and restored interior all contribute to a classic Ford that remains highly usable while still preserving the authentic personality and road presence expected from a mid-60s full-size American coupe. This 1964 Ford Galaxie 500 XL is located in Tucson, Arizona, and is currently being offered for sale at an asking price of $25,500. Number 8. 1964 Mercury Comet Caliente Convertible. This 1964 Mercury Comet Caliente convertible represents a stylish and increasingly hard-to-find example of early 1960s American compact luxury and performance, combining classic convertible styling with upgraded V8 power and practical drivability improvements. Finished in a white exterior over a tan interior, this Comet Caliente carries the clean body lines, chrome trim, and elegant proportions that helped distinguish Mercury's upscale compact models during the mid-1960s. The convertible body style further enhances the car's appeal by adding open-air cruising capability and a more relaxed grand touring personality, making it especially attractive for weekend drives, local shows, and vintage cruising events. According to the seller, the vehicle remains rust-free, carries a clean title, and currently runs and drives well, making it an immediately usable classic rather than a restoration project requiring major work. Power comes from a 302 cubic inch Ford the 5th 8 engine equipped with a 4-barrel carburetor. The 302 small block platform became one of Ford's most respected and widely used engines because of its reliability, strong aftermarket support, compact size, and balanced street performance characteristics. Compared to the smaller factory engine options originally available in many Comets during the early 1960s, the upgraded 302 V8 gives this convertible substantially improved power and a more responsive driving experience while still maintaining manageable street manners and dependable operation. The addition of the 4-barrel carburetor further enhances airflow and throttle response, helping provide stronger acceleration and improved overall engine performance. The engine is paired with an automatic transmission, creating a comfortable and easy driving combination well suited for relaxed cruising and everyday usability. The automatic setup complements the car's convertible grand touring personality by delivering smooth operation without sacrificing the classic V8 sound and driving feel associated with vintage American cars. According to the seller, the vehicle runs and drives very well overall, suggesting that the drivetrain has remained mechanically dependable and suitable for regular road use. One of the most important drivability upgrades on this Comet is the addition of front disc brakes. Many early 1960s American cars originally came equipped with 4-wheel drum brake systems, which often require more maintenance and provide less consistent stopping performance compared to modern setups. The upgraded front disc brakes significantly improve braking confidence, responsiveness, and safety while helping make the car more comfortable to operate in modern traffic conditions. This type of upgrade is especially valuable on older V8-powered cruisers intended for regular driving rather than static collection display. Visually, the Comet Caliente retains the understated but elegant styling that helped Mercury differentiate itself from Ford's more mainstream compact offerings during the era. The Caliente trim level represented one of the more upscale versions of the Comet lineup, offering additional trim details and a slightly more luxurious presentation compared to base model variants. The clean white exterior paired with the tan interior creates a timeless color combination that complements the car's classic convertible design extremely well. The seller specifically describes the vehicle as clean with great body lines, reinforcing the idea that the car continues to present strongly despite its age. Inside the cabin, the vehicle features a bench seat layout that maintains the authentic full-width seating arrangement commonly found in American cars of the early 1960s. The interior design likely retains much of its original vintage atmosphere, focusing on comfort, simplicity, and spaciousness rather than aggressive performance styling. Combined with the convertible top, the cabin provides the type of relaxed open-air driving experience that continues to make vintage convertibles highly desirable among classic car enthusiasts today. According to the seller, the vehicle has approximately 86,000 miles and has no significant mechanical problems or major damage reported. The car is fully paid off and carries a clean title. The seller also emphasizes that the vehicle can be enjoyed immediately while still leaving room for future improvements or personalization if desired. This balanced presentation makes the car appealing both to buyers looking for a reliable weekend cruiser and to enthusiasts interested in gradually refining or restoring a vintage Mercury convertible over time. Located in Tucson, Arizona, this 1964 Mercury Comet Caliente convertible is offered at an asking price of $13,000. The seller notes that V8-equipped Caliente convertibles are becoming increasingly difficult to find, particularly solid rust-free examples that remain drivable and complete. Combining upgraded 302 V8 performance, front disc brakes, convertible styling, clean overall condition, and strong usability, this Comet represents a unique opportunity to own a distinctive and increasingly uncommon piece of classic American automotive history at a relatively accessible price point. Number 9. A classic 1966 Cadillac Sedan de Ville that perfectly captures the oversized luxury, smooth V8 power, and unmistakable road presence that made Cadillac one of the most respected American luxury brands during the 1960s. This particular Sedan de Ville stands out because it combines much of its original character with custom lowrider-inspired upgrades that give the car a more modern cruiser personality while still preserving the elegance and prestige associated with vintage Cadillacs. With only approximately 43,000 original miles and its original 429 cubic inch engine still in place, this car represents a solid foundation for someone looking to own a classic full-size luxury cruiser with serious visual presence. Under the hood sits Cadillac's legendary 429 cubic inch V8 engine, a power plant known for producing smooth torque, effortless acceleration, and exceptionally quiet highway performance. During the mid-1960s, Cadillac focused heavily on refinement and comfort rather than raw muscle car aggression, and the 429 engine reflected that philosophy perfectly. The large displacement V8 allowed massive luxury cars like the Sedan de Ville to glide down the road with almost no effort while still providing enough power to move the heavy body with confidence. Combined with the automatic transmission, the overall driving experience was designed to feel smooth, relaxed, and refined rather than harsh or overly aggressive. One of the strongest aspects of this Cadillac appears to be its originality. The seller states that the vehicle still retains its original 429 motor and only shows around 43,000 original miles, which is especially appealing for collectors and enthusiasts who value authenticity. Low-mileage survivor cars from this era have become increasingly difficult to find, particularly large luxury sedans that avoided years of neglect or extensive modification. The interior and chrome are both described as being in great shape, suggesting the car has been preserved relatively well despite its age. On a 1960s Cadillac, chrome trim plays a huge role in the overall appearance, and well-maintained original brightwork can dramatically improve the visual impact of the vehicle. The car has also received several tasteful custom upgrades that push it toward a more modern cruiser or lowrider-inspired style. An upgraded stereo system with a trunk-mounted subwoofer adds modern audio quality while still allowing the car to maintain its vintage atmosphere. More significantly, the Cadillac is equipped with an air suspension system featuring airbags, a tank, and dual V-air compressors. Air ride setups have become extremely popular on classic full-size American cars because they allow adjustable ride height while dramatically enhancing the vehicle's stance and visual presence. The ability to lower the car at shows or raise it for normal driving gives the Cadillac a much more dramatic personality compared to a factory stock setup. Visually, the 1966 Sedan de Ville remains one of the most elegant and recognizable Cadillac designs ever produced. The long body lines, stacked headlights, massive chrome bumpers, and formal roofline create the kind of road presence modern vehicles simply cannot replicate. Cars from this era were intentionally designed to look large, luxurious, and prestigious, and this Cadillac still carries that personality decades later. Even parked, a 1966 Sedan de Ville immediately commands attention because of its sheer size and unmistakable styling. The seller does mention that the car currently needs paint, but also notes that it would not take much additional work to turn it into a true showstopper. In many ways, that may actually appeal to enthusiasts looking for a vehicle they can personalize or finish to their own taste rather than paying significantly more for a fully completed restoration. Since the interior, chrome, drivetrain, and suspension upgrades are already in strong condition, repainting the exterior could potentially transform the entire presentation of the car quite dramatically. Located in Temecula, California, and offered at $16,500, this 1966 Cadillac Sedan de Ville presents a unique combination of originality, low mileage, luxury, and custom cruiser style. The mix of the original 429 V8, preserved interior, upgraded sound system, and adjustable air ride suspension creates a vehicle that feels equally suited for relaxed boulevard cruising, classic car events, or lowrider-inspired shows. Overall, this Cadillac represents the type of classic American luxury car that still delivers unmatched presence, comfort, and vintage character while also offering room for future customization and personalization. Number 10. 1965 Ford Thunderbird Special Landau. This 1965 Ford Thunderbird Special Landau represents a rare and highly distinctive example of mid-1960s American personal luxury car design, combining unique anniversary edition styling, premium comfort features, and strong restoration potential in a platform that continues to attract attention among classic Ford enthusiasts today. The Thunderbird had already established itself as one of Ford's most iconic luxury performance nameplates by the mid-1960s, and the special Landau edition helped celebrate the model's 10th anniversary with exclusive styling details and limited production numbers that make surviving examples increasingly collectible. According to the seller, only around 4,500 examples of the special Landau package were produced, adding additional rarity and historical interest to this particular car. Finished in orange with an off-white interior, this Thunderbird presents a very bold and period-correct appearance that reflects the dramatic styling direction American manufacturers embraced during the mid-1960s. The body design features the long hood, formal roofline, hidden rear seat styling cues, and wide proportions that made fourth-generation Thunderbirds stand apart from both traditional muscle cars and standard luxury sedans of the era. Unlike smaller sports-oriented vehicles, the Thunderbird focused more on combining luxury, comfort, and smooth highway cruising with elegant styling and strong V8-powered performance. This particular car is described as a special Landau edition, a package that included distinctive trim details and vinyl roof styling unique to the anniversary model. The seller notes that the vinyl roof was replaced at some point in the past using an incorrect grain material, which eventually trapped moisture and caused bubbling underneath the surface. However, an important advantage is that the seller has already sourced the correct period-style vinyl top material from SMS Fabrics, and that replacement material is included with the sale. Having access to the correct grain vinyl can be especially valuable for enthusiasts focused on preserving authenticity during a future restoration. Under the hood, the original drivetrain has already been removed for freshening and restoration work. According to the seller, the engine and transmission both ran and drove well prior to removal, but the valve stem seals and transmission seals needed attention due to leaking issues. Rather than simply continuing to operate the car in that condition, the owner chose to remove the drivetrain with plans to refresh the engine and transmission, while also detailing and repainting the engine bay to a much higher presentation standard. This approach suggests the project was being handled carefully with long-term restoration quality in mind, rather than rushed cosmetic work. The seller also mentions that the heater core had developed a leak, leading to partial dashboard disassembly in preparation for replacement. A new heater core has already been obtained and is included with the project, potentially saving future restoration time and expense. While the vehicle is currently non-running because the drivetrain remains removed, much of the difficult disassembly work has already been completed, which could actually be beneficial for the next owner planning to continue the restoration. Inside the cabin, the off-white interior is described as remaining in nice original condition overall. Although not perfect, the seller notes that the interior remains very presentable, which is especially important considering how difficult it can be to source correct interior trim and upholstery components for mid-1960s Thunderbirds. Original interiors from this era often featured extensive chrome trim, detailed dashboards, and luxury-oriented materials that helped distinguish the Thunderbird from more performance-focused Ford products of the same period. The 1965 Thunderbird occupies an interesting place in Ford history because it represented the continued evolution of the personal luxury coupe segment that Ford had helped pioneer with earlier Thunderbird generations. Rather than focusing entirely on raw muscle car performance, these vehicles emphasize style, comfort, smooth ride quality, and upscale features. Cars like this became especially popular among buyers who wanted something more elegant and luxurious than traditional performance cars while still maintaining strong V8-powered cruising capability. Although this Thunderbird currently requires mechanical completion before returning to the road, it appears to offer a strong foundation for restoration thanks to its rarity, originality, and included replacement parts. The fact that the car was reportedly driven into the garage under its own power before disassembly also suggests the vehicle was operational prior to the restoration process beginning. For enthusiasts interested in classic Ford luxury cars, projects like this can be particularly rewarding because restored special Landau models remain uncommon and visually distinctive compared to more common Thunderbirds from the same era. Located in Tucson, Arizona, this 1965 Ford Thunderbird Special Landau is currently offered for $7,500. The combination of limited production anniversary styling, mostly original interior condition, included correct replacement vinyl top material, partially completed restoration work, and strong long-term collectability makes this car an appealing opportunity for anyone interested in restoring a rare mid-1960s American luxury coupe with unique historical significance. Number 11. This 1965 Ford Thunderbird Sport Coupe honestly feels like one of those classic American luxury cars that perfectly captures the elegance and personality of the mid-60s. In my opinion, The Thunderbird has always occupied a very unique place in automotive history because it wasn't designed to be a pure muscle car or a basic family cruiser. Instead, Ford created something that blended personal luxury, style, comfort, and performance into one unforgettable package. And this particular example sounds especially interesting because of its connection to legendary country music star Conway Twitty. The first thing that immediately catches my attention is the gold exterior paired with the white interior. Personally, I think that combination fits the personality of a 60s Thunderbird perfectly. Gold paint gives the car a classy and upscale appearance, while the white interior adds a bright luxurious contrast that feels very authentic to the era. Modern luxury cars today often feel cold and overly minimalistic, but classic cars like this Thunderbird had warmth and personality built into every detail. One thing I've always loved about the 1965 Thunderbird is the styling. In my opinion, Ford absolutely nailed the design during this generation because the car looks elegant, futuristic, and aggressive all at the same time. The long hood, wide stance, hidden headlights, and clean body lines give the Thunderbird an unmistakable presence on the road. And honestly, these cars still look dramatic even today. You can instantly tell this was built during a time when American automakers weren't afraid to experiment with bold styling and luxury-inspired details. The fact that this Thunderbird was reportedly made for Conway Twitty honestly makes the car even more fascinating to me. Personally, I think celebrity history always adds an extra layer of personality and storytelling to classic cars. Even if someone isn't a country music fan, knowing the car has a connection to such a well-known entertainer immediately makes it feel more special and memorable. Classic cars are already rolling pieces of history, but when they're connected to famous figures from music, film, or entertainment, they often carry an even stronger emotional appeal. Another thing that stands out immediately is the rebuilt engine. In my opinion, fresh engine work is always one of the biggest positives when buying an older classic car because drivability and reliability matter so much. Older luxury cars can sometimes become difficult or expensive to maintain, so hearing this Thunderbird has a rebuilt engine gives me much more confidence in the car overall. And honestly, a smooth-running V8 fits the Thunderbird perfectly. Cars like this were designed to deliver relaxed power and effortless cruising rather than aggressive race car performance. Personally, I think the best way to enjoy a Thunderbird is exactly how Ford intended, gliding comfortably down the highway while enjoying the atmosphere, sound, and style of the car. The automatic transmission also perfectly matches the personality of the vehicle in my opinion. Mid-60s personal luxury cars were all about comfort and smooth driving experiences, and the automatic setup helps create that relaxed cruising feeling. The seller also mentions many other new parts, which honestly is another reassuring sign. In my opinion, older classics that have received recent mechanical attention are much more enjoyable because you spend less time fixing problems and more time actually driving the car. One thing I personally love about Thunderbirds from this era is how unique they feel compared to both muscle cars and luxury sedans. They really created their own category. You get sporty styling and V8 power, but also comfort, elegance, and upscale design elements. And honestly, the interior on these cars was always impressive for the time. I can easily imagine this white interior looking absolutely beautiful inside the cabin, especially combined with all the chrome trim, vintage gauges, and 60s styling details. The mileage is listed at around 96,000 miles, which honestly feels very reasonable for a car that's over 60 years old. But personally, with classic cars like this, overall condition and maintenance history matter far more than the exact odometer reading. Another thing I appreciate is that this Thunderbird sounds like it's meant to be enjoyed rather than hidden away in storage. Some collector cars become too valuable or fragile for regular driving, but this one sounds more like a proper vintage cruiser that someone can actually take out on the road and enjoy. What I personally love most about classic luxury cars from the 60s is the atmosphere they create. Modern vehicles today are incredibly advanced, but many of them lack the sense of occasion that older cars naturally provide. Sitting inside a mid-60s Thunderbird feels like stepping into a completely different era of American culture. And honestly, cars like this always attract attention because people rarely see them anymore. Modern traffic is filled with SUVs and generic crossovers, so a gold 1965 Thunderbird cruising through town would immediately stand out. The asking price of $33,000 honestly feels understandable to me considering the rebuilt engine, unique history, beautiful styling, and overall condition. Classic Thunderbirds from this era continue to gain appreciation because they represent such an iconic period of American automotive design. Overall, in my opinion, This 1965 Ford Thunderbird Sport Coupe feels like a beautiful piece of American luxury car history. From the elegant gold and white color combination to the rebuilt engine and fascinating Conway-Twitty connection, this car delivers style, comfort, nostalgia, and personality in a way that modern vehicles simply cannot recreate. And honestly, I think this Thunderbird perfectly represents the glamour and sophistication of 60s American motoring. Number 12. 1967 Plymouth Belvedere 2. This 1967 Plymouth Belvedere 2 is a solid mid-60s Mopar muscle-era sedan that combines rebuilt big block performance, clean structural condition, and several recent restoration updates into a straightforward driver-oriented classic. Finished in white with a black interior, the vehicle presents a timeless American muscle car appearance while maintaining the simple, aggressive body styling that helped make the Belvedere platform popular among Chrysler enthusiasts during the late 1960s. Power comes from a rebuilt 383 cubic inch V8 engine equipped with a 4-barrel carburetor and paired with a rebuilt automatic transmission. The Chrysler 383 Big Block remains one of Mopar's most respected performance engines due to its strong torque output, durability, and broad aftermarket support. In the Belvedere chassis, the 383 provides the kind of powerful acceleration and deep exhaust character commonly associated with classic American muscle cars from the golden era of factory V8 performance. According to the seller, the engine runs very strong, suggesting that the drivetrain rebuild work was completed with reliability and usable street performance in mind. The automatic transmission has also reportedly been rebuilt, helping improve overall drivability and reducing concerns often associated with aging factory drivetrain components. Rebuilt engine and transmission combinations can significantly increase the long-term usability of vintage vehicles, especially for enthusiasts who want to enjoy regular cruising rather than maintain a purely static collector car. Structurally, the seller describes the car as extremely solid with no holes in the floors or elsewhere on the body. Solid floor pans and rust-free structural areas are particularly important on older Mopar vehicles because rust repair on classic unibody platforms can become both labor-intensive and expensive. The seller specifically notes that the car currently has no carpet installed, allowing the condition of the floors to remain visible and further supporting the claim of strong structural integrity. Additional updates include new tires and a replacement brake booster, both of which contribute to improved drivability and safer road manners. The vehicle has also received re-chromed bumpers along with nicely preserved trim and glass, helping maintain the clean appearance and period-correct styling expected from a well-kept 60s Mopar. Exterior details such as chrome trim and bumpers play a major role in the visual presentation of classic cars from this era, and restored brightwork can significantly improve overall curb appeal. The exterior is finished in urethane white paint, a more durable paint material compared to many original finishes from the 1960s. The clean white exterior paired with the black interior creates a simple but aggressive contrast commonly associated with vintage muscle cars. The Belvedere's straightforward body lines, restrained chrome accents, and relatively lightweight design all contributed to the platform's popularity both on the street and in drag racing culture during the late 60s. The seller notes that the vehicle is being sold as part of a personal collection due to an inability to continue driving. Situations like this are relatively common in the classic car world and often result in well-maintained enthusiast-owned vehicles becoming available after years of private ownership and care. The listing also indicates that the title remains in the seller's name, further supporting straightforward ownership documentation and transfer. The 1967 Plymouth Belvedere 2 occupies an important position in Mopar history because it served as the foundation for many of Chrysler's performance-oriented intermediate body cars during the peak muscle car era. Vehicles built on the Belvedere platform became respected for their relatively lightweight construction, strong engine options, and excellent straight-line performance potential. Even today, the platform continues to attract enthusiasts interested in classic Mopar muscle without the significantly higher pricing often associated with rarer GTX or Hemi-equipped models. Overall, this particular Belvedere 2 appears to offer a balanced combination of rebuilt big block power, solid structural condition, refreshed exterior trim, and straightforward vintage muscle car character. The strong-running 383 engine, rebuilt transmission, clean floors, and updated mechanical components create a usable and appealing Mopar classic suitable for weekend cruising, local car shows, or continued restoration refinement if desired by the next owner. This 1967 Plymouth Belvedere 2 is located in Lakeside, California, and is currently being offered for sale at an asking price of approximately $13,000 to $13,500 or best offer. Number 13. 1964 Mercury Comet Caliente. This 1964 Mercury Comet Caliente represents a rare and aggressively upgraded version of Mercury's compact performance-oriented platform from the early 1960s, combining classic American styling with a significantly enhanced small-block Ford drivetrain and race-inspired transmission setup. Finished in a striking red exterior matched with a red interior, this Caliente carries the bold appearance and vintage muscle personality that make early Comets increasingly desirable among collectors and street machine enthusiasts alike. According to the seller, the vehicle is in very good overall condition, highly enjoyable to drive, and stands out as a relatively uncommon example compared to more frequently seen Ford and Mercury models from the same era. Power comes from a hydraulic roller 302 cubic inch Ford the 5th 8 engine described by the seller as pretty spicy, suggesting a performance-oriented build with upgraded internal components and a stronger camshaft profile than a standard street setup. The Ford 302 platform has long been respected for its reliability, lightweight design, and strong aftermarket support, making it one of the most popular small-block engines ever produced by Ford. In a lightweight chassis like the 1964 Comet, the upgraded 302 likely provides very strong acceleration, responsive throttle feel, and a far more aggressive driving experience than the car originally offered from the factory. The hydraulic roller configuration also improves reliability and drivability while reducing maintenance concerns commonly associated with older flat tappet camshaft setups. Backing the upgraded V8 is a reverse manual C4 transmission, one of the most unique and performance-focused features of the entire build. Unlike a standard automatic transmission, a reverse manual valve body requires the driver to manually shift through the gears while altering the traditional gear pattern sequence. This type of setup is commonly associated with drag racing and serious street performance builds because it provides more direct control over gear changes and transmission behavior under hard acceleration. Combined with the lightweight body and upgraded 302 engine, the reverse manual C4 likely gives this Comet a much more raw and aggressive personality compared to a typical restored cruiser. Visually, the red-on-red color combination perfectly matches the car's high-energy character. The 1964 Mercury Comet Caliente already featured clean body lines, compact proportions, and sporty styling cues that separated it from many larger American vehicles of the era. The bright red exterior further enhances the car's muscular appearance while emphasizing its vintage hot rod personality. The Caliente trim level itself was considered one of the more upscale and performance-oriented versions of the Comet lineup, adding additional trim details and a more refined presentation compared to base model variants. According to the seller, the vehicle is considered somewhat rare, which adds to its appeal among collectors and enthusiasts searching for something less common than the usual Mustang, Chevelle, or Camaro platforms often dominating the classic car market. Mercury Comets from this generation have developed a strong following because of their lightweight construction, compatibility with Ford the 5th 8 powertrains, and straightforward mechanical design, making them ideal foundations for street performance builds like this example. The seller repeatedly emphasizes how fun the car is to drive, which is not surprising considering the combination of a strong small-block V8, reverse manual transmission, and compact body dimensions. Cars configured this way often deliver a far more connected and mechanical driving experience than heavier full-size cruisers or comfort-focused classics from the same period. The lightweight chassis combined with the upgraded drivetrain likely creates strong acceleration, sharp responsiveness, and an old-school muscle car feel that appeals heavily to enthusiasts who enjoy active driving involvement rather than passive cruising alone. The odometer currently displays approximately 1,234 miles, although the listing does not clarify whether this reflects actual mileage since the drivetrain build or simply current odometer reading. Regardless, the seller describes the car as being in really good shape overall with no significant reported problems, clean title status, and strong road manners. The vehicle is fully paid off and appears ready for immediate enjoyment without major restoration or mechanical work being necessary. The seller also notes being somewhat negotiable on the price, although not by a large amount, and may consider trades for something equally interesting while specifically avoiding unfinished projects or undesirable trade offers. The listing encourages serious buyers to view the car in person rather than engaging in endless messaging or speculative questions, which often suggests confidence in the vehicle's condition and presentation. Located in Santee, California, this 1964 Mercury Comet Caliente is offered at an asking price of $22,000. Combining rare model appeal, aggressive small-block Ford performance, race-inspired transmission upgrades, striking red-on-red styling, and strong overall condition, this Comet represents a distinctive and highly entertaining classic American street machine. For enthusiasts seeking something more uncommon than the traditional muscle car choices while still delivering serious V8 performance and vintage personality, This upgraded Comet Caliente offers a compelling blend of rarity, power, and old-school driving excitement. Number 14. A beautifully styled 1964 Ford Thunderbird Coupe that represents one of the most elegant and recognizable American personal luxury cars of the 1960s. This Thunderbird captures the era when Ford focused on combining sporty styling, luxury comfort, and premium design into a single package that appealed to drivers looking for sophistication rather than raw muscle car performance. Finished in white with a tan interior, the car carries a refined and timeless appearance that perfectly complements the upscale personality the Thunderbird became famous for during this generation. The 1964 model year introduced a distinctive sculpted body design that helped separate the Thunderbird from ordinary full-size coupes of the era. Its low-slung stance, long hood, wide proportions, and extensive chrome detailing created a dramatic road presence that still looks impressive decades later. The body lines flow smoothly from front to rear, giving the car a clean and elegant appearance while still maintaining a slightly sporty attitude. One of the most iconic styling features remains the signature sequential rear taillight system, a design element that quickly became associated with the Thunderbird name and helped the car stand apart from nearly every competitor on the road. Under the hood, the Thunderbird is paired with an automatic transmission designed to deliver the smooth and effortless driving experience expected from a luxury-oriented coupe of this period. Cars like this were engineered more around comfort, refinement, and relaxed highway cruising rather than aggressive racing performance. The long wheelbase and substantial body size helped create a smooth ride quality, while the large interior gave passengers a much more comfortable and upscale environment compared to many smaller performance cars of the same era. The white exterior works especially well on this generation Thunderbird because it highlights the car's sculpted lines and chrome trim without overpowering the elegant design. Combined with the tan interior, the overall presentation feels clean, sophisticated, and very period-correct for a mid-1960s luxury coupe. In many ways, this color combination emphasizes the Thunderbird's more refined identity compared to louder and more aggressive muscle cars from the same decade. The interior likely continues that upscale atmosphere with classic dashboard styling, comfortable seating, and the kind of spacious cabin design that made personal luxury cars increasingly popular during the 1960s. According to the listing, the vehicle shows approximately 3,781 miles, although that number may reflect mileage since restoration or mechanical work rather than total lifetime mileage. Regardless, the car is described as being in clean condition with no significant damage or problems reported. The clean title status and overall presentation suggest the Thunderbird has been maintained carefully and preserved as a collector-oriented classic rather than simply used as basic transportation over the years. The Thunderbird occupied a unique place in American automotive culture because it blended elements of luxury, sportiness, and prestige into one package. Unlike traditional muscle cars built primarily for straight-line speed, the Thunderbird appealed to buyers who wanted comfort, style, and a more upscale driving experience without sacrificing visual presence. By the mid-1960s, the Thunderbird had evolved into a true personal luxury icon, competing more with premium coupes than with ordinary family cars. What continues to make these cars so appealing today is their unmistakable styling and sense of occasion. A 1964 Thunderbird does not look or feel like a modern vehicle in any way. Everything from the sweeping body lines to the chrome accents and sequential taillights creates a driving experience rooted entirely in classic American automotive design. Even parked, the car carries a level of presence and sophistication that naturally attracts attention. Located in Las Vegas, Nevada, and offered at $30,780, this 1964 Ford Thunderbird Coupe appears to represent a very clean and stylish example of one of Ford's most iconic luxury models. The combination of elegant styling, comfortable cruising characteristics, clean presentation, and timeless design gives this Thunderbird strong appeal for collectors and enthusiasts who appreciate classic American luxury cars from the golden era of automotive design. Overall, this car feels less like a pure muscle machine and more like a rolling symbol of 1960s American sophistication and prestige. Number 15. 1963 Plymouth Valiant. This 1963 Plymouth Valiant represents an increasingly rare opportunity to acquire a highly solid and remarkably rust-free early 1960s Mopar platform with excellent restoration or custom build potential. While the vehicle is currently incomplete and missing both its engine and transmission, the condition of the body and structural components appears to be the true highlight of this listing. For many experienced classic car enthusiasts, especially those familiar with vintage Mopar projects, finding a clean and structurally solid body is often far more important than locating a car with a worn-out drivetrain already installed. According to the seller, this Valiant has spent over 40 years stored in the dry desert climate outside Las Vegas, Nevada, which likely played a major role in preserving the car's condition. Desert-stored vehicles from the Southwest are often highly desirable because the dry climate dramatically reduces the type of moisture exposure that commonly destroys floors, rocker panels, trunk areas, and structural supports on older cars. The seller specifically states that the floors, trunk, and rocker panels are all in excellent condition, describing the car as approximately 95% rust-free. That level of structural preservation is extremely difficult to find on many vehicles from the early 1960s, especially affordable project cars priced under $1,000. The body itself is described as exceptionally straight with no noticeable door dings, which further increases the appeal for anyone considering a restoration or custom build. The seller even notes that it may be the nicest body they have personally seen on a barn-find vehicle, suggesting the sheet metal and exterior panels have survived remarkably well despite decades of storage. Good original body panels can save thousands of dollars during restoration because replacement sheet metal for early Mopar compact cars is not always as easy to source as more mainstream muscle car platforms. This particular Valiant is being sold without an engine or transmission, leaving the next owner with significant flexibility regarding drivetrain choices. For traditional restorers, the car could potentially be returned to factory-correct condition using an original-style Mopar inline-6 or small-block V8 setup. On the other hand, the lightweight and compact nature of the Valiant platform also makes it extremely popular among hot rod builders and drag racing enthusiasts looking to create lightweight, performance-oriented projects. Over the years, many Valiants have been transformed into surprisingly fast street machines due to their relatively low weight and straightforward chassis design. The 1963 model year is also historically interesting because it represents part of Chrysler's early compact car era, a period when manufacturers were experimenting with smaller and more efficient platforms while still maintaining distinctive styling. The Valiant featured unique body lines and understated design cues that separated it from many larger full-size American cars of the same period. Although originally marketed as practical transportation, surviving Valiants have gradually developed a dedicated enthusiast following thanks to their simplicity, durability, and adaptability for custom builds. The seller mentions that the car includes good glass, seats, steering components, and suspension parts, meaning many difficult-to-find original components are still present despite the missing drivetrain. Complete trim and structural parts can become increasingly valuable on low-production or lesser-restored classic vehicles because many reproduction parts simply do not exist for certain models. Having an intact rolling chassis with major original components already in place can make a restoration project significantly easier and more affordable over time. Another positive detail is the inclusion of a clear California pink slip dating back to the 1980s. Older paperwork and long-term ownership documentation can be especially important for vintage vehicles that have spent decades off the road. A clean transferable title situation can save substantial frustration during the registration and restoration process, particularly for classic project cars that may have changed hands multiple times over several decades. Because the car has been sitting for such an extended period, it would obviously require a complete mechanical restoration before returning to road use. However, the overall condition described by the seller suggests this Valiant may serve as an excellent foundation for someone searching for a clean early Mopar body rather than a fully operational driver. In the world of vintage car restoration, starting with a rust-free shell is often considered one of the most important advantages a builder can have. Located in Pahrump, Nevada, this 1963 Plymouth Valiant is currently offered for only $995. The combination of an exceptionally solid rust-free body, straight sheet metal, dry desert storage history, clean California title, and flexible restoration possibilities makes this car an extremely interesting project opportunity for Mopar enthusiasts, hot rod builders, or collectors searching for a lightweight vintage platform with strong long-term potential.